Good morning, students. We are in week video 3 of OCAD. The last video, that is video 2, we learned about the different factors which affect the organization change. That is external factor and internal factors as well. And in this video, that is video 3, we'll be learning about types of organization change. So what are all those exactly? See, organization can go for change either through one of the following ways. So let's see what exactly it is. First is the organization wide change. Next is the structural change and is the strategic transformation change and remedial changes. So what are all these changes? We'll learn about that. So first is organization wide change. So what exactly is that? It is largely referred to as restructuring or right sizing. In most of the instances, that is in most of the examples, this type of change is usually accompanied with employee hiring and employee layoff. This type of change may also refer to a change in the employee culture. This change usually involves major programs which affect both the groups and individuals. They usually occur over an extended period of time and they do call for proper, proper planning and execution. For example, when it is a new hire, bringing on new team members requires onboarding and training, which can affect both the new hires and the established employees. Changes to roles and responsibilities. Job descriptions can evolve over time. Changes to an employee's responsibilities may require additional training and restructuring of teams. Next is the employee training and development for new skills. Navigating policy changes is complicated as a result when you alter policies that directly affect employees, such as parental leave or vacation or remote work policies. It is at the risk of the organization, right? So this was about the organization wide change. It might involve both the structure as well as the employees. Next is the structural change. Structural change involved major shifts in the management hierarchy, team organization, and the responsibilities attributed to different departments, employees, or teams. For example, strategic changes. Strategic changes, what does that mean? Strategic changes involves changing basic objectives or mission of the organization in question. Process oriented change. It is also a type of organization change which relates to technological developments, automation, and information processing. This type of change usually involves restraining and replacing personnel, that is, employees, and normally calls for some heavy capital investment on equipment. For example, let us go with the example of this. Mergers and acquisitions. So what do you mean by mergers and acquisition? They're the most common cause of structural change. Eliminating the role of redundancies, redefining goals, clearly defining new roles and responsibilities, and training on technology are all important parts of managing change during mergers and acquisitions. The creation of new teams or departments. Structural change can also apply to smaller adjustments, such as creating a new team. If you notice that some employees have more of a knack for analytics, you might decide to create a separate team dedicated to reporting. The necessary shifting of personal and duties could create some kind of tension. It's not about taking away responsibilities, okay? It's about playing to each individual strength. Changes to the company organizational chart. Promotions and new roles call for updates to the organizational chart. When moving people around, be sure to celebrate wins like promotions and explain adjustments such as merged departments. So this was about the structural change. And next is the strategic transformation change. What exactly is this? This refers to change which affects the organization from very top at the CEO level to the very lowest cadre of employees. Right. So again, the entire hierarchy of the organization may be examined, dismantled, and then regrouped accordingly to the circumstances of the organization. Minor modifications to existing tools or policies will influence but not completely redefine a business. Big changes, on the other hand, transform companies. Whether that transformation is positive or disastrous depends on the strategy which is used to make it. Examples of strategic transformational change: updating your mission as you grow. When companies first launch, the initial focus is often on lead generation and getting clients through the door. However, once the company has an established customer base, the focus could shift to upselling. For example, when the main mission changes, the company mission needs to evolve as well. Yeah, that's true, right? Introducing new technology. Technology is designed to make our lives easier, but learning curves can make technology related changes tricky to implement. People generally prefer to stick with what they know. When you introduce new technology, you need to have a solid plan for the transition. People want to know why the technology is necessary, what makes it better than previous solutions, and how you are going to support them during the transition. For example, if you plan to switch from an outdated CRM to Salesforce, start by justifying the change. Explain that Salesforce will allow the team to manage leads while also engaging with current customers. Be sure to point out key benefits like keeping marketing, customer relations, and detailed analytics all in one place. Employee training and development for new skills. What exactly is that? Additional training is a great way to support existing talent while also helping the company to evolve itself. It's important that employees understand that the goal is to support new strategies are opposed to fixing deficiencies. When presented properly, additional training will be viewed as a benefit. Employees will see that you are willing to invest in their personal growth. So that is how it goes on. So this strategic transformational changes could be made gradually and monitored closely. They don't happen overnight. You'll need to make adjustments and work closely with the team as your strategy shifts. Next is the remedial changes. So what exactly is the remedial changes? They are reactionary. This type of change occurs when a problem is identified and a solution has to be implemented. Right? So, how do they do that? How do they go across it? As these changes are designed to address an issue, they call for immediate action. These are changes which are to some extent forced upon the organization due to their poor performance. This is usually due to some financial distress which the company or organization may be going through at a particular time. These changes may vary greatly. How? Including actions such as cutting down some budgetary allocation, stopping a particular production line, or putting the brakes on planned company expansion. These remedial changes are usually made with the intention of making the company more proactive in the future and cutting down on any losses accruing from certain actions which may previously been considered profitable or necessary, but which due to unforeseen circumstances have now proven to be quite costly and unnecessary. For example, dealing with the loss of talent. When someone in a key position in the company decides to leave, you must adapt quickly. Unexpected changes in personal. See here, personal, the word personal. When it is stressed with double N and E, it is personal, that is employees or individuals. When it is only NAL, personal, it is like which is confidential or which is limited to one own individual. So again, coming back, when the unexpected changes in employees or personnel are difficult to prepare. Addressing customer communication issues. There is a huge difference between simply handling of communication with customers and having an effective communication strategy. Providing more training for new hires. Highly inefficient processes often lead to remedial changes. You might notice that new employees are struggling to learn internal tools and software. As a result, they are running to established employees with questions. For what? Regarding what? The changes in the training and development schedule. Time is wasted and everyone ends up frustrated. In this case, the remedial change could include a combination of a user onboarding program for application training, a company for basic company knowledge, and an onboarding handbook with knowledge resources that promote self guided learning. Remedial changes begin with an issue and end with a solution. So, we learned about four types of changes, organization changes. So, what is exactly planned change and intended result? Change that happens to an organization can be distinguished from change that is planned by its members. You plan for the change. You plan for the change in the working timings of the organization. So that is planned change again. And when there are changes which occur due to uh, any other circumstances, then it is called unplanned changes. Change that happens to an organization can be distinguished from change that is planned by its members. So, ODE is directed at bringing about planned change to increase an organization's effectiveness and capability to change itself. It is generally initiated and implemented by managers, often with the help of an ODE practitioner from either inside or outside of the organization. Organizations can use planned changes to solve problems, to learn from experience, to reframe shared perceptions, to adapt to external environmental changes, to improve performance, and to influence future changes. Planned internal change. So you have two types of planned changes: planned internal change and planned external change. Change in product or services. A company which has established itself in cosmetic products decides to diversify into healthcare products too. This decision to give a new dimension to the business, to add a new specialized services, will require organization changes again. Change in administration system. So how do you change the administration system? The organization needs to change its administration system to be placed strategically as and when there are economic changes or governmental changes. Changes in organizational size and structure. An organization change their as they change their product, services, or administrative system to stay competitive, they need to alter the size and basic configuration of their organization chart. It simply means restructuring of the organization. So change in the products or services, change in administration system, changes in organization size and structure. So this was about the planned internal change. Next is the planned external change. See again, in under planned change, you have planned internal and planned external. Planned external changes, introduction of new technologies. Advances in technology have produced changes in the way organization operate. Advances in information processing and communication. With today's sophisticated satellite transmission system, fiber optic cables, fax machines, mobile telephones, teleconferencing facilities, it is clear for businesses to communicate with each other and the clients also. So planned external changes is introduction of new technologies and advances in information processing and communication. So it might be more due to mobile phones or machines or teleconferencing facilities or optic cables or anything might come under this. So next is organization change roles. So what exactly is that? Specific change management teams may consist of the following roles. Change requester, the individual responsible for initiating, preparing and submitting the change request. Change owner or assignee or implementer, the individual deemed as an owner of the change request through request lifecycle. Change approver, the individual who is responsible for approving or permitting the change request. Okay, so we learned about three: change requester, change implementer, change approver. Champions, who are they believe in what the change, but they lack sponsorship to drive it. Agents have implementation responsibility. Performance is evaluated on the success of this implementation. Sponsors authorize and demonstrate ownership for the change or reinforce the change at local level. Targets change behavior, knowledge, emotions, perceptions, etc. Next is the change initiator. So, what exactly is that? Initiator is someone who starts, that is, who starts at first, who initiates change management process. It could be the customer, or it could be the service level manager, or it could be the continuous service improvement manager, or even the manager. That depends how the organization set their change management processes, etc. How do you initiate change when you want to make some changes? How do you start with that change, or how do you improve in that changes? Make a call to action, develop a reasonable consensus, get organized, and then develop a concrete plan, actualize the planned changes, decide whether the change was worthwhile, sustain the change. 5 steps to successful change. Acknowledge and understand the need for change. Communicate the need and involve people in developing the change. Develop change plans. Implement change plans. And then evaluate progress and celebrate success. A change management strategy is a plan for how to make something different. In business, a change management strategy describes specific ways in which an organization will address such things as changes in the supply chain, inventory requirements, scheduling, or project scope, or something like that. So this was about the types of organization change, unplanned change, planned internal and external change, an example for that, and so called the change initiators and change implementers, right? So in the coming slides, that is video 4, that is the last video for this module 1. So we'll be reading about 5 steps to successful change and change facilitators and the rest of the change topics, right? Thank you, class. Thank you for listening. So we are done with video 3. The next video will finish module 1.